Some of you obviously informed Dawn that I had mentioned her in my previous video. I was genuinely happy to see Dawn back. She'd contributed so much to where I find myself now. You know, my joy in life and sort of my expression of myself, and changing my hair up and having that confidence to do that. A lot of it was attributed to Dawn. I actually caught up with her over the last couple of days, and we did have a video chat on Instagram. You know, as soon as that video came and I saw her, I just immediately felt like I was talking to an old friend. It was immediate, and you guys will know what I mean, I'm sure you will. If you were to meet, or if you know another hair wearer, another woman who wears hair and has all the love and enthusiasm for it, because let's face it, yes, it's some might call it a necessity or a desire, but it's also a passion. It's also a creative outlet. As soon as I saw her, we just had that connection straight away. And I just went, hi, so nice to see you. She hadn't heard of Life and Hair. You know, she started her channel in 2015, I think she said. And if you go back, you'll see her building her style and her videos up, as we do. So she started pretty early. There weren't really that many kind of wig review channels on. And as I previously mentioned, she had a real panache in front of the camera, but she was also a very beautiful, glamorous woman. You could see in the way she wore her clothes, her style. She was so well put together. And no matter what colour hair that woman wore, it suited her. I just don't understand it. Auburn, brunette, dark, blonde, platinum, it all suited her. And it all framed her stunningly blue eyes, which we all fantasize. Oh, if only we had eyes that colour. I've always said, and incidentally, my mother had bright green eyes. I will never forgive her for that. I always said that if I had my mother's green eyes, or Dawn Stamper's beautiful blue eyes, I wouldn't know a problem in my life. I would lead a charmed existence. I'm sure I would. But anyway, that's what I always said. We had a good chat. She got a lot off her chest. It was very evident that she was pleased to have somebody to talk with. A lot's happened, a lot's changed. I'm not going to go into it here because this is a story for her to put to you in her own words. She expressed a desire to do so, and we're very pleased because we have decided to film or record an informal heart-to-heart between two ladies. We're going to just record it and I'll upload it on my channel. And I said to her, now tell me now, what are you and what aren't you comfortable in sharing? And she straight away said, I don't have any problems sharing everything. And I'm going to go with it. I'm going to go with it because it's a story, a fascinating story that needs to come out. She needs to get it off her chest. She needs to expunge it from her psyche, and I'm sure that it'll help her in moving on. One of the most touching things she said, and maybe we all suffer with this to a certain extent, she said she recorded her videos and everything, but it was only in these 18 months that she had been away that she realized, now coming back, how much of a difference her videos made to people and how much people cared about her and wanted to support her and wanted to be her friend and wanted to hear her story. I think as women, we lead quite eventful lives that sometimes don't really come across on social media and YouTube. I feel confident that the women watching this video can relate to real hardships befalling women, shocking events, extreme events befalling women, and huge changes that happen, sometimes from a moment or a small decision. Huge changes can be the consequence of that. I think as women, we're very resilient, we're very resourceful, and we're very creative. That's what gets us wearing hair. And we just want to enjoy supporting someone who has been through quite a story, which I think you'll find very interesting. I certainly did. I mean, I was listening to, my eyes were like saucers. I couldn't believe what I was hearing and what a change had befallen our beloved Dawn. Ooh. This is a 1, 2, 3 layer chocolate cake. The flavour, very, very pleasurable. Obviously it's very rich. The sponge. I love it. Needless to say, I love it. You can't eat like this all the time, but every now and again, having a bit of cake like this, it really needs to be done. I was thinking the other day about how some people, mostly women as far as I know, have got a real passion for hair. It's not just a casual interest. It's a proper feeling of excitement at the prospect of talking about everything to do with hair, trying different pieces on, watching other people try different pieces on, having a fascination with the colours of the pieces, the length, the way the hair flips in and out. And it got me to thinking about the difference between real hair pieces and synthetic pieces. Initially, I only ever had synthetic pieces, and I thought for a moment there that as soon as I started having real hair pieces, I would never look back. But there's a lot of difference between the two, and I was very surprised to find actually that synthetic hair pieces had something very special and very useful that real hair pieces didn't have. Now that was a real surprise to me. I always thought that the realism of real hair would trump any benefit that synthetic pieces would have, and I've discovered it hasn't really worked that way. I've got a piece. It's Reese by Noriko. It took me ages to remember the name. And if you know Noriko in any way, you'll know of the extent of the permatease on the top. I mean, they're completely closed at the top. They've got a pad of rose lace, and in that pad is a bunch of permatease. And as a result, they can really get big. I never imagined that I would really take to that look and that permatease would be my friend. I was always expecting to hanker after the lace tops, the monofilament parts, the lace fronts. Lace fronts are very good, but you need to manage that lace. Now, there isn't a lace front that I've ever seen that is completely invisible. If you're looking at your lace front and thinking, oh, I can really see there is something there, a line, just a line, a separation, a smooth sort of separation, and the lace could be slightly darker or slightly lighter than your skin, you don't need to worry about that with those basic caps. And I was so surprised to find that the synthetic with no lace front, closed cap on the top, loads of permatease, but remember, permatease done well is invisible. Remember that. That's a big chunk of icing, and that's the first layer of sponge, and it's not too sweet. That's what I love about it. Oh, it's not too sweet and sickly. Maybe it's got no calories in it, this one. It's one of those special no-calorie cakes. I'm going to get a Reese for you. Let me put this cake down. And I'll show you what I mean. Reese. Almond spice rooted. The old me would have asked herself, who in their right mind would want a cap of synthetic fibres full of permatease instead of sleek real hair? They both have their place, don't get me wrong, and different pieces suit different occasions best. When it's a very wet day, for example, and you don't want to wear real hair, you know, having a synthetic piece can save you a lot of trouble and worry. It's never going to frizz. It's never going to lose its shape. A lot of the pieces that I have are really beautifully cut and shaped. The curl pattern is baked in a delightful way. You can part them any way you want. That's a really useful bit. That's a really useful part of having a synthetic piece with loads of permatease. When I put my fingers in this, they just sink into all of the permatease, very billowy. The disadvantage would be that it's quite hot. Another real advantage to synthetic hair is that it does not fade in the sun. You can take this out in very bright light. You know, I had as you know, a holiday in the Mediterranean this summer. I went to Greece. It was very hot and very bright. I think we went in mid-September, I think, and you were still swimming in the sea, etc. And I didn't wear any hair on that holiday, and I hated not having hair on. I just wished that, well, initially I wanted to take my real hair toppers, you know, but they would have just been ruined in the sun, and all of that bright light, all of the hair dye would have just faded, and I would have been left with kind of light brown colour, which I didn't want. I love this medium brown colour, and I love the highlights just as they are, and I don't want, you know, to waste a perfectly good topper like that. Who can now spot people on television, news anchors and people like that, wearing some form of hair? I never could before, but I really can now. So I just wanted to recap really, and I wondered whether you felt the same about real hair versus synthetic, that there is actually a lot of benefits to synthetic hair that you don't immediately appreciate, and you assume that real hair is so much superior. There's no doubt that real hair is actual hair, and it's going to look the realest. But these synthetic fibers look pretty realistic as well. You can't really take that away from them. Let's fluff this up. Yes. Ooh. Ooh. I have a confession to make. A certain person, a certain wig reviewer YouTuber, has influenced me to buy another piece, and I've ordered it. It's another Noriko piece, and I do not know what I'm going to think of it. I'm kind of bracing myself. I have bought an Alva, and it is chocolate frosted rooted. It's a bob. Alva is a bob. It's a very popular piece. It's been around a long time. It's been reviewed so much. I'm always so late to the party. I always think that I don't think I'll ever be the cutting edge face of the newest styles out there, because it takes time to decide what you want. If you're going to invest in anything, you don't really want to be too impulsive with what you buy. You want to watch a lot of reviews and think very carefully about how you're going to spend your money. And most importantly, you want those investment pieces that you're going to be able to wear day to day. There is a big difference for me in my life between work hair and weekend hair, or holiday hair, you know, time off hair. There's a huge difference. With work hair, I don't want it very long, because necessarily I will have to wear an Alice band with it or try and clip it up, which is fine, but again, it's another thing to manage. When I'm at work, I don't want to think about lace fronts, clips, toppers that are sliding back, or, you know, wigs that need to be tweaked throughout the day. I want to actually put a piece on. I mean, for example, this piece, Noriko Reese, I'll put it on and it will serve me all day at work without once having to kind of look in the mirror and wonder whether anything is showing. I don't want to be distracted like that. Full of Permatese, yes, but the Permatese is utterly invisible. This cake is now going to go back in the kitchen, because I'm not going to have any more just yet, but I'll probably have a little bit more tonight and maybe the rest tomorrow. I couldn't possibly eat a whole slice like that. It almost cost me £5 just for that one slice of cake. Every activity, every occasion warrants a certain style, and we are so lucky to be able to choose what kind of hairstyle we want. I don't have enough hair. I'm not going to sit around grieving the fact that I don't have enough hair, being upset about it, being self-judgmental about it. I'm just going to get over myself and work with what I can. And I think what I have to work with is very good. Modern wigs and hairpieces are such an improvement to where they were before. And I'm now at an age and confidence and maturity where I can manage other people when it comes to wearing hair. You know that whenever I start talking about hair wearing, I can talk about it for so long, because every element, there are so many elements of life and self-development and maturity and boundary setting and reframing hair wearing to suit you. There are so many personal development aspects to successfully wearing hair unapologetically, making it into a fun event, to the extent where other women have a glint in their eye and you can catch them looking at it and thinking, I wonder whether that would suit me. Now, many women don't allow themselves to go into actually trying one on because they haven't dealt with the stigma of wearing hair. I've been there. I know exactly what that feels like. When my cousin was wearing hair, she's passed on now, so this is several years ago, before I actually started. I actually started wearing hair after she passed away. She sort of suggested that I might want to, but I wouldn't allow myself to go there. There was a certain sort of inappropriate pride that I couldn't be seen as wearing a wig. But the human mind can take a concept like that and mold it and make it obey what you need from it. I needed to be able to wear hair unapologetically, and that's exactly what I've started to do, and I'm really glad I've done it, because actually it's brought so much to my life. Well, it was a little bit of a kind of a controlled explosion, speaking to Dawn Stamper. She had a lot to say, and it was all of a very sensitive and delicate nature. But I think that it was a woman just speaking the truth of what life is actually like. And as mature women of the world, we've been through so much. We have been in the mire of getting through life, of relationships and marriages and divorces and bringing up children, losing people, gaining people, and discovering ourselves. And you know, that's a very messy business. The business of life is very messy. And as Dawn herself said, it's not very readily represented on the internet. And there are reasons for that. You don't want to open yourself up to negative comments, criticism, anger. All of those things are very easy to slip into online. But then by the same token, you don't want to avoid discussing and reflecting on these uncomfortable things. People don't really talk about stuff like this. And I mentioned in the interview right at the very end that the hair loss journey, the wig journey, is about all of those murky things. It's not just about posing in front of the camera and great lighting. It's not really real life, is it? It's not real life. Wearing hair is about wearing hair in your real life. You're doing two things at once. You're integrating one into the other. And there were so many comments from you, people who had been through it, who could relate, who could empathize, who had amazing words of wisdom and encouragement. I was really, really impressed and blown away to read everything that you had to say. Of course, there were a couple of more negative comments. And that's all they were. They were just comments. They were somebody's opinion. They were valid. But they weren't going to change the fact that we decided to have that conversation and we were going to put it up online. You know, Dawn wanted to do that. She wanted to tell everybody. She'd been so isolated and having to battle this crazy events in her life with some help, but ultimately we battle alone, don't we? And it was part of moving on. I mean, one of the things that I could really appreciate was the joy that she felt in the connection, in the coming back, you know, to feeling the support from everybody and being accepted, being welcomed back as the best version of herself by a bunch of people who saw the best in her and saw her potential and appreciated her talents, her skills, her beauty, her innate wisdom. And you could say that about all of us. Each individual woman has got those set of what's the word? Attributes that you can give to her. And it's our duty to do that, to uphold each other and to give, to generously see each other properly and appreciate each other properly. And talking about seeing and appreciating things, we continue on our week journey with Noriko. Now, you know very well that I was so enamored with Alva. She arrived the day before yesterday. I was extremely excited and I had to kind of get her out of the box straight away. I'm so sorry I've had to take you upstairs because I had nowhere to rest my camera. Now, it's my birthday this month and I have asked for a tripod. So, here is Alva. When I was looking through the colours, okay, I knew that I wanted something with some blonde in it. But I didn't want anything that was blonde all over. The main reason for buying this particular style has been to wear it to work, to have something professional and sober, but something that also pleased me about it. And this frost colour is actually great because in essence the medium brown that we see here lies underneath, you know, all over. It's got a little bit of variation in its colour, but basically the overall effect is this lovely medium brown. And then the hairs that lie over the top are those frosted ones. Some are more golden and some are more ash, and it works quite well because this is gently layered, this style. And of course, a lot of the blonde in this colour is actually seen in the fringe itself. So it brings some light to the face, some light around the face. But you also have that brunette look. Inside the cap, we've got that totally closed top that we know and love of Noriko. And then you have the open wefting around the sides, as you can see. And there's that metal stay right at the front here. You can actually move that around. I mean, it's not a very, it's quite a fine metal strip. So it's not a heavy metal strip that's going to dig into the front of your head or anything. And you have soft ear tabs that have got hairs actually sewn into them, which will probably give you quite good coverage. And the metal ear tabs in those. You can see it's actually quite cute because you've got these little bits, little kind of sticky out flippy bits here and there. It's actually amazing, an amazing shape. So I'm kind of just brushing it down to give you that initial, almost out of the box impression of Alva. For those who just want a really nice bob, beautifully coloured, it does come in some really nice colours. I mean, it's the sort of piece that you can actually buy more than one of. Because she's just so versatile. So versatile. You can wear this style with a strappy summer dress in a lighter colour. Okay, you can wear her with a nice warm jumper like this on the 1st of March, like I am today. She's not going to really rub, there's not going to be a lot of friction with your clothing. You can style her very nicely. Now, you know, when I pull these hairs back and away from the face, you can see so much more of the blonde frosting in this colour. But you've still got so much of the brunette. So I've accessorized with a gold Alice band. And it sits very comfortably on there. There's no problems with her at all. The fringe is beautifully shaped. I've had pieces where the fringe comes straight out like this, totally straight and sticks out, or kind of wants to do a funny thing to the side, but actually Alva's fringe is gently shaped around your eyes, around the tops of your eyes. So she's a good length. I haven't actually trimmed her at all. And she's slightly longer towards the sides. And you can pull even more of that under hair of the side fringe down to give you even more of a framing, softer look to this. And look at the way she moves. By the way, very low density at the bottom. There's not much fibres really at the bottom. She's very low density. But it gives her a wonderful swing. And that's something I adore about bobs. I love the way they move and they hang to one side. You get all the convenience of something that's very easy to manage with the beauty of the heaviness, the natural movement of that hair. I love that. So if we take this off, the amazing thing about Alva, and the reason I adore Noriko, is because I love the Permatese. I never imagined I'd be saying that. Look at that Permatese, look at that height, that drama, that glamour. Now I've got Reese and I have reviewed Reese, and Reese has got this same kind of structure in the cap and the same slightly swooping fringy bits at the front where they really make the most of those highlights. You can build her up beautifully and I adore that. I adore that kind of messy look. And if you wanted to, you can make the most of that. You just get a claw clip like this and you grab that hair on the top and look at the effect you can have with her. We're going to talk about Alva more. We're going to talk about Alva more, and I'm delighted to have discovered her. You know, she's the sort of style that you would gloss over if you were just seeing the picture of her online, because you wouldn't immediately be able to appreciate all the qualities that Alva has got and what she can give you. I'm in love with Alva.